This is the story of the infamous Zodiac killer, a mysterious serial murderer who made himself larger than life.
I like killing people. Kill again.
And was never caught. David is getting ready to go out with his girlfriend, Betty Lou. It's a special occasion. The two teenagers met earlier this year. Since then, they've seen each other almost every day. But tonight is their first real date, and they want to make it special. David picks out a light blue shirt, a beige sport coat, and brown corduroy pants. He has butterflies in his stomach. He pockets some change, a white handkerchief, and a bottle of breath mints, just in case. He slips on his rough leather boots, grabs the keys to his mother's Rambler station wagon, and is on his way. It's only a short drive to Betty Lou's house. David pulls up outside and pauses to take a breath. Tonight is supposed to be special, a night to remember for the rest of his life. And who knows, maybe it'll even be the start of their life together. When David sees Betty Lou, the world stops for a moment. He even forgets how nervous he is.
Brother, how does this have to do with a killer? Who the f is Betty Lou?
Her into the car, and the pair drive off. Their parents think they're going to a Christmas concert, but they're actually headed somewhere else. To a quiet turnout just off Lake Herman Road. The spot is popular with young couples in Vallejo.
Oh, he better crack some
space to enjoy some quality time away from their parents and siblings. Betty Lou leans against David's shoulder. Tonight belongs only to them.
We both keep on killing time.
A film by Fern.
About an hour later, a pair of bright headlights cut through the darkness. A second vehicle is slowly rolling toward them. It pulls up right next to the Rambler. Suddenly, shots are fired straight into David's car. In a panic, the teenagers scramble out the passenger side door. But David only makes it as far as the passenger seat.
Oh!
Their attacker reaches through the open driver's side window, aims at a spot behind David's left ear, and pulls the trigger.
For
Betty
what?
Lou has made it several meters away from the car. She's running, hurried and desperate.
Run, Betty!
Her breathing is shallow and frantic. The stranger is right behind her. There's no way she can escape him. She screams, piercing the quiet night air. Then, 5 shots ring out. They strike Betty Lou in the back, shattering the future she and David might have had.
No.
By now, it's 11:14 p.m. Betty Lou should have returned home long ago, but neither her nor David ever will. This is the first time the Zodiac killer
This is a true story, right, Chad? It's a true story?
strikes. It's also the beginning of an exhaustive manhunt that will never truly end. The police will fail. Strange psychics will offer their help. And some of America's most renowned authorities will be stumped by relatively easy riddles. A hunt that will inspire numerous films, series, books, podcasts, and videos like this one. There will be copycat killers, some real, some only alleged. And obsessive amateur detectives and online communities dead set on finding the Zodiac killer. Some will even think they have him. The search for Zodiac still captivates people to this day, but it also shows that stories only get as big as we allow them to. This video is largely based on the book Zodiac by Robert Graysmith.
Yo.
As always, you'll find the link and all our sources in the description.
Wait, this video is about to be good.
The newsroom of the San Francisco Chronicle is buzzing with life. The Chronicle is one of the largest and most influential newspapers in the entire West Coast. Color TV has been around for a while, but most people still start their day with their local morning paper. These thousands of readers expect their front page to feature breaking stories and the most important news. The Bay Area wants to be informed, surprised, maybe even a little shocked. No one in the Chronicle's office knows that the paper itself is about to become part of a shocking story, that it will become an active player in a deadly game. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, their daily editorial conference. Every morning, they come together to plan the next day's edition. They discuss what's happening in San Francisco and the rest of the world, and they decide which topics their columnist Temp and Al should cover in their editorials. Meanwhile, Robert is drawing. He'll do 6 sketches now. Later on, he'll ink one of them, and that'll be tomorrow's editorial cartoon. Suddenly, their routine is interrupted by another employee, who delivers a
Chet, I'm not that hairy, bro. This is not that much hair. It's a little bit of chest hair. I'm a 23-year-old grown man. I'm gonna have a little chest hair on my chest, bro. It's not weird to have a little hair on your chest. It makes me more of a man. And Darla likes to twist them.
mysterious envelope. The front reads, "Please rush to editor." Inside is a letter and a sheet of paper filled with cryptic symbols. The letter begins with the words,
Dear editor, this is the murderer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman.
Wait, what?
And the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo.
The message contains detailed information about the murders committed in the Bay Area in the previous months, things only the killer could know. And there's a threat.
If you do not print this cipher by afternoon of Friday, the 1st of August, I will go on a kill rampage Friday night.
The 4 men don't
Wait, so he killed people and then wrote in to confess to the killers?
What is this POV?
What?
know what to do. Publishing the cipher in the letter might produce more than just a front-page headline. It could send the city into a panic, maybe even the entire region. The murders mentioned in the mysterious letter have already put the Bay Area on edge for months. First,
shit.
David and Betty Lou were murdered.
Rest in
Then,
peace.
just a few weeks ago, there was another attack.
Wait, what?
Was tempted.
Darlene Ferrin is a waitress at Terry's
It's my
restaurant.
mom's name.
It's a classic diner, serving waffles, fried chicken, and pie.
Oh!
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
I could go for
Darlene
some
works the late shift
waffles.
until 3 in the morning. She's friendly, talkative, and extremely popular with customers. People even line up to have her wait on them. Darlene just gave birth to her daughter, Dina, and she and her husband purchased a small house on Virginia Street.
Oh.
But she doesn't seem entirely happy. It's an open secret that she sees other men. While she's out, her husband or a babysitter stays home with Dina. Friends will later recall that she seems exhausted, nervous, and scared. She thinks she's being watched. In her own home, just steps away from the sheriff's office. And here, at the diner. She says she's seen a white car with old California plates outside the restaurant. In recent weeks, her sister and her friends have noticed a similar car. Darlene thinks she knows who it belongs to.
Wait, is it the Zodiac?
This stocky, well-dressed man. He wears horn-rimmed glasses and smells of leather. Darlene says she knows him, but no one will ever find out from where. The man sits at the counter eating strawberry shortcake and pretending to read a newspaper. But he never really lets Darlene out of his sight.
Farewell and goodbye.
It's the 4th of July. America is celebrating almost 200 years of independence. Darlene picks up her friend Mike Majot and confidently steers her 63 Corvair through the festive town, despite not having a driver's license. She met Mike and his twin brother at Terry's Diner. Over time, the three became friends, and the twins became rivals for Darlene's affection. They would fight over driving her to work or doing her washing.
So she
At
was.
some point,
so
Darlene
she-
and Mike noticed there being
Darlene was a little. She was a bro. She was literally just going home with different guys every night. She's a prostitute.
being closely followed. The other car looks like it could be a Ford Falcon. Darlene keeps trying to shake it, but she can't. The car gets closer and closer. Finally, it forces Darlene's car into a parking lot near a golf course on the outskirts of town.
Oh no.
Then it speeds off. For
Wait,
a brief
what?
moment, Darlene and Mike think they're safe. But just minutes later, the Falcon returns. The driver seems to have changed his mind. Mike and Darlene are hit by a blinding light. A man gets out of the car and walks toward them. He's holding a large flashlight in his hands. Mike thinks the man is police. Maybe Darlene knows him. After all, she's been seeing men who work at the sheriff's office. But before he can even pull out his ID, the roar of a gunshot fills his ears. He feels blood running down his face. Darlene collapses onto the steering wheel. 2 bullets hit her right arm. 2 more hit her left. Then 5 more hit her in the back, piercing her lung and the left ventricle of her heart.
What?
Frantic, Mike claws open the door and topples out of the car. Later on, the police will find him here, bleeding from the neck and cheek, his jaw shattered and a hole ripped through his tongue.
Oh my god.
A concerned neighbor reports the gunshots to the police, and officers Rust and Lynch are sent to the scene shortly after.
Wait, did he survive?
The 2 men take their time. Rust doesn't see any urgency.
It's the 4th of July and there's kids out there shooting firecrackers.
But he's wrong. Not acting on the call immediately is a mistake. If they had, The shooter probably would have driven right by them. Shortly after, a man places a call to the Vallejo Police Department. His voice is even and
Don't tell me he killed people and then called the police department to... Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Hot take, Zodiac's got aura.
consistent. His words sound rehearsed.
I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to the public park, you'll find kids in a brown car.
What?
They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye.
Oh,
Then
hell
the man
no.
hangs up. Pacific Telephone will later trace the call to a public payphone. The booth is located right in front of the Vallejo Sheriff's Office. It's also within sight of Darlene's little green house. Darlene's friends and family also report having received strange calls that night. All they could hear was deep, heavy breathing. At the hospital, Darlene is declared dead on arrival. Mike pulls through, and it won't
He survived? Say, oh God, he survived.
be long until the killer strikes again.
Wait. If he
The man
survived,
sits
he should
alone
be
in
able
the
to
room
identify him,
writing
no?
letters. He uses a blue felt-tip pen to compose 3 nearly identical texts. One of them reads,
First, girl was wearing patterned slacks. 2, the boy was also shot in the knee. 3, brand name of ammo was Western. To prove I
Chat, chat, he was shot in the knee. Do you guys think my knee hurts worse or his?
3, brand name of ammo was Western. To prove I killed them, I shall state some facts only I and the police know.
The paper measures 18 by 25 centimeters, or 7 by 10 inches. It's a unique format the man will return to again and again. It'll become unmistakably associated with his letters.
Christmas. First, brand name of ammo, Super X. 2, 10 shots were fired. 3, the boy was on his back with his feet to the car.
I don't
4,
get it.
the girl was on her right side, feet to the west.
The handwriting drifts downward as it crosses the page, and it's quite distinct. The letter N is small and edgy. The R resembles a check mark. He ends his letters with a symbol resembling the crosshairs of a gun. In the years to come, it'll become his signature.
Holy aura.
He's given some thought to making his message even more impactful, and he's decided to pair each letter with a separate message, a cipher. Now he just needs to find an encryption method.
PK?
He could simply shift the letters, turn the A's into C's and the D's into F's. That system would be basic and easy to use. But he needs something more sophisticated. He decides to replace the letters with a range of different symbols. Greek characters, Morse code, and weather symbols. Letters from the Latin alphabet, naval symbols, and astrological signs. Then he adds another layer of complexity.
Yo,
by
he's a
encoding his message
tryhard!
electronically. Each letter can be represented by multiple symbols. That makes it essentially impossible to decode the text through frequency analysis. You can't just count how often certain symbols appear and match that to
Chat,
typical
how
letter
long ago did this
frequencies.
story take place? Like, when
A
did this happen?
psycholinguistics expert will later claim that whoever composed the cipher must have at least been trained in elementary cryptography. But today, we know this first cipher wasn't actually that sophisticated. The Codebreakers by David Kahn and Codes and Ciphers by John Laffin describe similar encryption methods. It's very likely the author of these letters simply used these 2 books as guides. While he would have had to track them down, neither was that hard to come by. The phantom writer carefully arranges symbol after symbol. Finally, each of his 3 ciphers consists of 8 rows with 17 symbols each. He pairs each one with a normal letter. Then he mails them to...
Alright, this might be a hot take. On my soul, if TikTok and Twitter existed 60 years ago, they would have caught the Zodiac killer way sooner. Facts or no? On my soul, little detectives on TikTok and in the Twitter communities would have had this dude caught within the first letter. Oh, God.
3 newspapers in the Bay Area: the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald. Like Jack the Ripper before him, this man will use the media to taunt the police with cryptic clues to his identity. The editorial team at the Chronicle
tits are
eventually
bigger than
decides to print their
coconuts?
cipher. Their colleagues at the Vallejo Times-Herald follow their lead. The Examiner waits until Sunday, publishing its cipher 2 days later. The killing spree threatened in the letter doesn't happen. But publishing it has another effect. Now the public knows about the mysterious killer. The entire Bay Area grows increasingly frightened. Before long, parents are telling their children not to leave the house.
Then why is little Timmy going to school on a bus? And you're watching him leave. Parents.
Before long, parents are telling their children not to leave the house. Jack E. Stilts has been running the Vallejo Police Department for 21 years. When he took over as chief back in 1948, the city was struggling with gambling, drugs, and prostitution.
Classic.
His reforms and cleanup efforts have produced some good results. But now his town, of all places, is haunted by a ruthless serial killer. A man who Stilts thinks is killing just for the thrill of it, who he describes as the most dangerous individual he's ever encountered in his 30 years in law enforcement. A few days ago, Stilts publicly called on David, Betty Lou, and Darlene's killer to send another letter.
I'm not addicted
one with
to
more
gambling and
details,
drugs.
proving it was really him who did it. The response comes quickly in the form of a 3-page letter.
Dear editor, this is the Zodiac speaking.
Oh, shit.
In answer to your asking for more details about the good times I have
Yo.
had in Vallejo, I shall be very happy to supply even more material. By the way, are the police having a good time with the code? If not, tell them to cheer up. When they do crack it, they will have me.
What?
This is the letter where the killer names himself Zodiac.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. He gave himself a nickname? He's playing in their faces, bro. Like, how have they not caught his ass
The
yet?
word refers to the Zodiac circle of astrological signs.
On the 4th of July, I did not open the car door. The window was rolled down already. The boy was originally sitting in the front seat when I began firing. When I fired the first shot at his head, he leapt backwards at the same time, thus spoiling my aim. He ended up on the back seat, then the floor in the back, thrashing out very violently with his legs.
Yo.
That's how I shot him in the knee. I did not leave the scene of the killing with squealing tires and racing engine as described in the Vallejo papers. I drove away slowly, so as not to draw attention to my car.
Stilts admits the letter includes
He's
details that haven't been made public,
self-reporting.
but he's still not convinced. He thinks that knowledge could have been obtained from witnesses at the crime scenes. But soon, there will be even more victims. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard have been close friends since college. Today, they're driving out to Lake
So I'm noticing a pattern with the Zodiac. Why does he kill people like couples almost? He like kills people when they're together.
Berryessa. It's a beautiful spot surrounded by rolling hills. On a small peninsula, they lay down a picnic blanket and revel in the stillness. Near the water, the land drops off abruptly, hiding the shoreline. From Brian and Cecilia's
no
perspective,
pussy?
it's impossible to see anyone approaching from that direction.
You guys
until
actually
they're
think he
already
gets no
very
pussy,
close.
so he just kills
And
couples.
right now, someone is. A tall, powerfully built man emerges. He's wearing a black executioner's hood that looks almost medieval. On his tunic, a white cross cuts across a circle. It's the symbol the Zodiac killer uses to sign his letters.
There's no way he starts wearing a costume killing people. There's just no
The
way.
man is carrying a knife with a 30-centimeter blade. With it, he stabs Brian and then Cecilia. Again and again.
No, that's not him. That's not him. Why would he change his MO? He's always killed people with a gun. All of a sudden, he switches and starts using a knife?
Total of 24 times. About an hour later, the phone rings at Napa Police Department. A calm and controlled voice says,
I want to report a murder.
Do you know I don't know him? I just know a lot. Chat, you gotta understand. I did criminal justice in school, bro. Usually, a serial killer kills the way they kill because they get a high, almost like they get a rise off of the way they're killing. So they have a certain MO that they like to do. Some serial killers might stab. Some serial killers might use a gun. Some serial killers might, there's serial killers out there who have done sexual things, do it for sexual reasons. But most serial killers, they start low, they realize, oh, I like this. I like the way it feels. Then they start killing more and more and more. There's no way that he would just randomly change his MO and go from a gun to a knife. There's no way.
No, a double murder.
The caller doesn't seem to know that Brian, though severely injured, survived the assault. The police believe the attacker must have left the scene right away, but not before leaving a message on the door of Brian's car. the dates Betty Lou, David, and Darlene were murdered, and today's date. Crime lab technicians will later discover some less obvious clues. Tracks suggesting the attacker's vehicle has heavily worn tires and very deep footprints. The suspect must weigh at least 95 kilos or 200 pounds. A police officer with that exact weight walking alongside the tracks doesn't sink down as deeply as the unknown individual. The footprints reveal another lead too. They're most likely from a chukka-type boot called the Wing Walker. As part of a government contract, over 1 million pairs of this model were produced. The investigators will never be able to trace them all.
I'm not the Zodiac
In most murder
killer.
cases, you'll find a motive. But of course, this guy is just a killer, a mad killer, and you have no motive.
This is Captain Don Town.
No, I don't know enough about this case, but have they looked to see, like, okay, here's what I think could have happened, right? And this could just be me completely. But if this Zodiac killer has killed all these people, it's not far-fetched for there to be a fan of him who's just going around wearing his merch stabbing people now. I don't think this was the actual Zodiac killer that stabbed them.
Of the Napa County Sheriff's Office. He'll speak to the press again later to announce what he believes is a possible motive. He thinks the murderer can't be anyone but a mentally ill person who derives sexual gratification from the act of killing.
This guy is a pathological, psycho, killer. There's no doubt about it.
A psychology professor supports that assessment. The Zodiac killer probably experiences sexual satisfaction through the deliberate mutilation of certain body parts. Captain Townsend is convinced that Zodiac hates women. Profoundly.
So he gets hard and horny from killing people?
In all known cases, the female victims are assaulted far more brutally than the men. He stabs Cecilia once in each breast, once between the legs, and once in the abdomen. And across his 3 attacks on couples, twice the man has survived. The woman has always died. The assault on Cecilia also marks a shift. It's the first time the Zodiac killer uses a knife. One investigator will later explain that
if you wanted to go out and kill for the sheer sake of killing, you could use a high-powered rifle and kill it 200, 300 yards. But by plunging a knife into someone, it's the most intimate contact you can have with a victim.
Jesus
an intimacy
Christ.
that experts think people like the Zodiac killer are incapable of forming in their normal lives. His propensity to violence and misogyny are all over his ciphers, too.
You know what probably happened, Chad? You know what, this is like some real shit. This is gonna sound crazy, but he probably killed people with a gun, and then he was getting off by it, like getting his sexual satisfaction, and then he didn't get as much satisfaction, so he started using a knife, so it was more like, ugh, bro, this guy's sick.
Just weeks ago, the first one was cracked, and not by a specialist. Donald and Betty Harden are both school teachers. On any other weekend, they'd be unwinding and taking it easy. But this Sunday, there's something they can't let go of. The cipher published in the Examiner 2 days earlier. They clear the dining room table and gather some sharp pencils, a ruler, and an eraser. Then they're back at it. Betty has a theory. The killer is such an egomaniac that he probably...
No, I'm not the Zodiac killer. Like, you guys sound so dumb, bro.
...begins his messages with I. The Hardens also suspect he'll use the word kill repeatedly. So they look for recurrent 4-symbol patterns that could represent it. Their theory holds up.
I like killing people because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all.
Betty and Donald also spot the traps Zodiac built into the cipher. 15 times he uses a backwards Q. This is probably meant to trick readers into thinking it represents the most commonly used letter in English, E. But 7 different signs are used to encode that letter. At the same time, Zodiac appears to have made multiple mistakes. The application of his own code is sloppy and several words are misspelled. At this point, neither of America's most renowned investigative institutions, the FBI and the CIA, have managed to solve the cipher. As they decode the final piece, the Hardens are the first.
How many people did he kill?
The most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl.
Oh, hell no.
The best part of it is when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all the lone or stray people I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name, because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for my afterlife.
Oh, this guy's psycho. Oh, this guy's psycho. He's a psychopath.
After Cecilia's murder, Captain Townsend explicitly warns Napa County residents to avoid isolated areas and not go out alone after dark. People get the message. Local restaurants and drive-ins that are usually packed until late at night are now deserted.
How can they not find
Across the Bay
him?
Area, the authorities are on full alert. Since the murders occurred in 3 different jurisdictions, 3 separate police departments are working on the case. Based on witness descriptions, all of them are searching for the same suspect. A stocky man, mid-20s to mid-30s, with glasses and dark wavy hair.
Okay, hold on a minute. Wait, why does he...
From the very beginning,
Wait.
mid-20s to mid-30s, with glasses and dark wavy hair.
It does not look like
But from
me.
the very beginning, the investigation moves slowly.
That does
Each
not look
department
like
works
me,
its
chat.
own leads, often without knowing what the others are doing. Decoding the letters frequently requires coordinating with experts from other cities. That process is often complicated and time-consuming, slowing down the investigation. One officer admits to the press afterward that,
Shock?
Our knowledge of each other's crimes was not as sharp as it might be.
to make things worse, the police make a grave mistake, one with serious consequences.
No, what they do?
Paul Stein's taxi is stuck in late-night San Francisco traffic. As he inches forward, Paul curses. The traffic is frustrating, but he's just months away from a PhD in English, and the taxi pays his tuition. On the sidewalk, a stocky man steps out from under an awning and waves him down.
Stocky means fat, right?
Paul picks him up. About 15 minutes later, they reach the man's destination, an upscale neighborhood in northern San Francisco. But the passenger asks Paul to go 1 block further. At the next intersection, the cab pulls over. A party's going on across the street. At the second-story window, teenagers look out over the wet pavement below. Normally, Paul would stop the meter and ask for the fare. But suddenly, the passenger's left arm is clenched tightly around Paul's neck.
What?
The gun presses up against his right cheek. Then the man pulls the trigger. At exactly 9:58 p.m., a police
Wait.
officer logs a
He killed without there being a girl there?
call. The teenagers across the street couldn't see exactly what was going on inside the cab, but they know they witnessed something terrible. They say the suspect is a man wearing dark clothing. But when the APB goes out, patrol units are told to look for a black man. On their way to the scene, the officers see a stocky man lumbering along in the fog.
No!
He seems to match the description perfectly, but he isn't black. The officers shout to him, asking if he's seen another man. The man points them in a direction and the patrol car drives off. The two policemen don't realize they probably just spoke to the killer himself.
Oh my
Later
god!
on, they publicly admit to their mistake. Back at the crime scene, detectives assume a robbery has gone terribly wrong. San Francisco has recently seen a series of attacks on taxi drivers. This one must have been the work of an amateur. Paul's wallet is
Wow,
gone.
bro.
But he just
So just classic casual cop racism led to them not finding the Zodiac. Nice, bro.
started his shift, so there probably wasn't much cash in it. He's still wearing his expensive watch, and the killer left the scene dripping in blood. Shortly after, 2 experts from the crime lab arrive at the scene.
Would they not have
They
seen the
immediately look
blood?
for latent fingerprints that may have been transferred to surfaces by sweat or the skin's natural oils. To render them visible, the experts need to dust the taxi's surfaces with gray or black powder. Once a print becomes visible, they carefully lift it with transparent tape to preserve it for analysis. Their meticulousness pays off. On the door, they find bloody prints from a right hand.
Oh,
Now
they
they just
found
need
him.
to compare these prints against those of the day's passengers and against police records. But the process is painstakingly slow.
How?
This is the 1960s, so there are no digital databases. Fingerprints are stored on paper cards. Every comparison requires hours of concentrated manual labor. Specialists known as dactyloscopists first look at general patterns like arches, loops,
Yo, they had no Yo, I'm not gonna lie. This might be a really crazy thing to say. On my soul, it would have been so easy to be a serial killer back in the day. Like, that shit would have been so easy to be a killer.
and whorls. But what really matters are the tiny details that make every print unique. Ridge endings, bifurcations,
No
tiny
cameras,
dots, crossovers, and spurs.
Barely any social media,
In the
no
end, there's no
databases.
The
Brother,
police are baffled. There are now 5 victims, and still no trace of the killer. The Chronicle receives another letter.
This is Zodiac speaking. I am the murderer of the taxi driver over by Washington Street and Maple Street. To prove this, here is a blood-stained piece of his shirt.
Before this, investigators hadn't considered the Zodiac killer a suspect in Paul Stein's murder. The crime just didn't fit his known pattern. Paul was alone. The attack happened in the middle of a residential area, not a remote lover's lane on the outskirts of town, and the killer only fired a single shot. But the bloody piece of Paul's shirt seems to prove it. In case the Chronicle considers not printing it in its entirety, the letter also contains a terrible threat.
School children make a nice target. I think I shall wipe out a school
Oh,
bus
hell
somewhere.
no,
Just shoot at
bro.
the front tire and then pick up the kiddies as they come bouncing out.
When the paper publishes the letter, the Bay Area is hit by another wave of panic, the biggest one yet.
This guy's crazy,
People were already
bro.
living in fearful, uncertain times.
They gotta find
The 1960s
him.
are tumultuous, marked by political assassinations, the Manson murders, and the Vietnam War. And for the first time, the public can watch most of it unfold on color TV.
Who raided,
Thousands
chat?
frequently take to the streets in the Bay Area.
Tatum raid, Tatum, thank you for the raid. Tatum, thank you so much for the raid. It's probably a weird time for Tatum viewers to join the stream. You're probably wondering, oh, why are his nipples out? So basically, I'm on perks and my body's very itchy.
Area's major cities. There are anti-war demonstrations, sit-ins, and protest marches. Many wear the now famous peace sign buttons. In one of his later letters, the Zodiac killer will sarcastically demand protesters start wearing his symbol instead.
Oh, hell no.
At a moment when many people desperately hope for peace.
Wait, this guy's upset.
The Zodiac
Yo,
killer
there's
attacks
no way this guy didn't make a single mistake throughout all these kills. There's no way.
society from within by threatening the most vulnerable target of all, children. In Napa County alone, 65 school buses take thousands of children to school every day. The vehicles cover a daily total of 7,000 kilometers. Some stretches of road are quite dangerous, with isolated sections, sharp turns, and blind intersections. Following Zodiac's threat, bus drivers are instructed on handling potentially violent attacks. Keep driving the bus, even on a flat tire. Tell the children to lie on the floor. Don't stop until you've reached a well-populated area. Protection is ramped up too. 70 units of heavily armed policemen guard the Napa County buses. Rangers in pickup trucks escort them, while air patrol planes fly overhead. Police protection is increased in almost every...
Yo, this dude can send a letter in the mail and instantly has cops following school buses to school. I mean, bro.
Every community in Northern California. Plainclothes officers are deployed. Every threat, no matter how small, is taken seriously. A few days later, a man calls the Oakland Police Department. He claims to be the Zodiac killer, and he demands to speak with one of the two most famous defense attorneys in the country.
See, bro, like, this is what I'm talking about. Any, like, fake person can now just call in as a Zodiac killer, bro. This is probably what made it so hard to find him.
This is the Zodiac speaking. I want you to get in touch with F. Lee Bailey. If you can't come up with Bailey, I'll settle for Mel Belly. I want one or the other to appear on the Channel 7 talk show. I'll make contact by telephone.
Melvin Belly agrees right away. Just hours later, he's in the studio. Half of America is glued to their TVs. In a normal edition of the show, viewers can call in to participate. But tonight, the lines are kept clear so the Zodiac killer can get in touch. And he does. He even gives Belly his real name, Sam.
Wait, what?
Tell us what's going on inside you right now, Sam. Please.
I have headache.
All right. How long have you had those headaches, Sam?
In a long time.
Sam hangs up and calls back. Eventually, he loses control and simply screams over and over, and he repeats his terrible threat.
I want to kill those kids.
Sam calls the show 35 times.
Oh my god, he can't control it anymore, chat. He can't control his urges to kill. He's going crazy. Why would he tell him his real name? Gifted 5. Joey, thank you so much for the 5 gifted, bro. Thank you.
Only 12 of the calls are heard on air. The longest of them is 9 minutes. That's long enough to trace the call. And long enough to find out that Sam is not the Zodiac killer.
I knew it. I told
He's
you.
a hospital patient, suffering from a mental disorder.
I knew it, bro.
Shortly after, the Chronicle receives 2 new letters from the real Zodiac. Inside the first envelope is a greeting card. On the front, it says,
Sorry, I haven't written, but I just washed my pen.
The message inside reads,
I thought you would need a good laugh before you hear the bad news. You won't get the news for a while yet. P.S. Could you print this new cipher in your front page? I get awfully lonely when I am ignored. So lonely, I could do
Yo,
my
these
thing.
cups suck, chat.
The enclosed
These cops
cipher
are
is his most
ass,
complex
bro.
yet. It's composed of 340 characters, and it won't be solved for 5 decades. December 3, 2020. 3 men sit at their computers on different sides of the planet. American software developer David Aranachak, Belgian computer programmer Jarl van Eyck, and Australian mathematician Sam Blake. For years, they've been collaboratively obsessing over the same mystery, the 340-character cipher the Zodiac killer sent to the San Francisco Chronicle following the TV show.
Wait, so how did they find him?
With his first riddle solved within a week, Zodiac must have made a bigger effort. His second cipher was almost certainly created with pen and paper too, but it proved complex enough to remain unbroken for 51 years.
Wait, he's never been found still to this day? Sam God. So people still don't know who the Zodiac killer is. That's crazy.
This isn't for lack of trying. Numerous experts have reportedly taken a crack at what has become known as
He's
Z340.
probably dead now,
The
yeah.
FBI, the American Cryptogram Association, Navy cryptographers, countless amateur codebreakers, and the NSA. David, Jarl, and Sam alone have already spent years trying to break it. They know it's homophonic. Z340 consists of 63 different symbols, so every plain text letter is represented.
Wait, how do they know it's homophobic? What?
David, Jarl, and Sam alone have already spent years trying to break it. They know it's homophonic. Z340 consists of 63 different symbols, so every plain text letter is represented by several. But they have another theory.
If they can't read it, how do they know he's homophobic? I don't get it.
The Zodiac killer must have done something else to his message before encrypting it. They start experimenting. Sam sends David a total of 650,000 variations of the cipher. David runs them all through a code-breaking program developed by Jarl called AZ Decrypt. For months, thousands of these results look like gibberish. But today, December 3rd, David suddenly stumbles on some real words in one of the solutions. Hope you are, trying to catch me, and the gas chamber. He almost overlooks them, but these words will be the key to finally solving Z340.
Oh my god, they found him.
The Zodiac killer's first cipher was delivered in 3 separate letters, so Jarl proposes splitting the 340 cipher into 3. The first 2 sections comprise 2 paragraphs. Each has 9 lines. The third is just 2 lines. They rearrange the cipher using a diagonal reading rule. They start by writing out the symbol in the upper left-hand corner. Then they move 1 symbol down and 2 to the right.
I'm not gonna lie, like, dude, this is like some coding. Like, this is crazy to even, for him to even know how to like write like this is insane. What is that
write out
emo?
the symbol there. This continues until they reach the edge of the cipher. Then they repeat this game starting with the top row's second letter. Then comes the final tweak. As it searches for the rest of the key, David tells Jarl's decrypting software to retain the words he found before. Hope you were trying to catch me, and gas chamber. He clicks a button, and boom, a phrase pops out.
Oh my god.
That wasn't me on the TV show. David leaps out of his chair yelling, holy shit. He knows the Zodiac sent this cipher about 2 weeks after Sam called into the TV show. They're on the right track. Apart from being a homophonic substitution cipher, Z340 is also a transposition cipher. The plaintext characters have been shifted according to a more or less regular system. The international team has to make some final adjustments. Some words are misspelled, spelled backwards, or exempted from the diagonal reading rule. But eventually they come up with a coherent message.
What is it?
2 days later, the FBI confirms it. In his message, Zodiac clarifies that he isn't afraid of death. He believes dying will bring him to paradise, where all of his victims will serve him as slaves.
I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me.
Oh, hell
And
no.
was it me on the TV show? Which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. That is why they are afraid of death. I am not afraid, because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise.
Cracking the 51-year-old cipher is a small sensation among people still fascinated by the case.
Wait, they've cracked the cipher 50 years later?
But it doesn't bring investigators any closer to actually solving it. Back in 1969,
who knows
detectives
how
turned
many
to the
people he's
other
killed
letters
since
Zodiac
then.
sent after the TV show. This one is a 7-page diatribe aimed at the police. The killer mockingly refers to the officers as blue pigs and accuses them of making blatant mistakes in the manhunt. The letter also includes a drawing. It's a sketch of a bomb Zodiac wants to plant on a school bus. The threat isn't made public, but it stokes fear of a potential school bus attack. Investigators are growing desperate. About 2 months after the murder of taxi driver Paul Stein, a self-proclaimed seer named Joseph DeLuise comes forward. A few years ago, he accurately predicted that the Kennedy family would be hit by a horrible tragedy. Now he claims to have been receiving mental transmissions from the Zodiac killer. He says he's begun to form a mental picture of Zodiac and to receive detailed insight into the killer's personal life. DeLuise feels that Zodiac prefers walking over driving, that he spent time in some kind of reform institution when he was young. He consumes drugs like speed or goofballs before going out to kill. His star sign is either Scorpio or Aquarius, and he has a little box where he keeps the things that drive him to commit his horrible crimes. DeLuise offers to help the police, accompanied by officers from
I missed that part. Hold on, chat.
drugs like speed or goofballs before going out to kill. His star sign is either Scorpio or Aquarius, and he has a little box where he keeps the things that drive him to commit his horrible crimes. DeLuise offers to help the police. Accompanied by officers from 2 police departments, he visits the crime scenes to pick up more vibrations. The psychic develops intuitions about the killer's deep loneliness, love for flowers, and intense hatred of the police. Aside from that, his visits produce nothing of value. After Paul Stein's death, more and more people begin to actively engage with the case. The Napa County Sheriff's Office receives hundreds of leads. The San Francisco PD gets almost 1,000. Concerned citizens start suspecting their neighbors, ex-husbands, and co-workers. Between 1969 and 1983, over 2,500 suspects are considered in San Francisco alone. But most of it leads nowhere. Throughout the 1970s, police investigators keep coming back to one man in particular, Arthur Lee Allen. He's the only suspect ever publicly named by the police. In 1971, a former friend of Allen's contacts the authorities. He tells them Allen repeatedly expressed disturbing fantasies about killing couples and school children, and sending cryptic letters about his murders to the police. The friend claims he even considered calling himself Zodiac. So police begin investigating Arthur Lee Allen. He matches the killer's general description. He's said to have known Darlene casually and to have lived in Vallejo at the time of his murders. He also owned a typewriter of the same model allegedly used to type some of the Zodiac letters. Multiple search warrants are issued for him over the years, but neither Allen's fingerprints nor his handwriting match the existing evidence. Years later, advances in DNA analysis effectively rule him out as the Zodiac killer, posthumously. Allen dies in 1992 at the age of 58. He was never formally charged with anything. Over time, investigators and amateur sleuths identify numerous potential suspects. But like Allen, none can be conclusively linked to the crimes. The Zodiac remains a ghost. So much so that a 2020 book proposes another wild but highly intriguing theory. What if the Zodiac killer never existed? What if it